some of the details. Required counseling sessions. This is it. I won't leave you hanging, okay? But I am asking, and I'm thrilled with the turnout tonight. I can't possibly do this 40 times over, the information that I'm trying to give to you. I am videotaping it tonight for anyone that maybe couldn't make it tonight. But the state requires that all College Credit Plus participants be thoroughly informed of the regulations that this involves. There are some students that attend DACC, the Career Center, and they take college coursework there. Their main agreement is through Central Ohio Technical College. I think their digital design program has some classes. I think some of their other higher level programs have a connection with college or with Central Ohio Technical College. They will be advised by DACC. So I'm really just speaking to the full-time or those of you maybe doing part-time BV, part-time College Credit Plus. Deadlines. Very, very important that you keep in mind deadlines. The district is obligated to provide this information. That's what we're doing. I was required to do this prior to March 1st, so yay, I met my deadline. Now you have to submit your intent to participate form no later than April 1st. Here's the little bit of a catch. Spring break is March 28th through April 1st. Friday, April 1st, I will not be here. I will be visiting my father in Florida. So you're not going to be able to bring in the required documentation on the morning of Friday, February 1st. That's why I have emphasized in a couple different places March 25th. If for some reason you miss that deadline and you're able to scan it and email it to me and I have a date at the top that I received it prior to April 1st, okay, I'll live with that. But let's just simplify the process, please. If you're interested in this program, the letter of intent to participate is not binding. It is not binding. It's the second to last page in your packet. It has a top and a bottom half, and I'm asking that folks will sign the bottom half, not tonight, but at some point after looking things over. Sign the bottom half, cut it in half, have your son or daughter turn in that sheet. If you're asking them to be a college student next year, you're asking them to take on a little additional responsibility. Turning in an intent to participate form, I don't believe is asking a whole lot. But you do need to pay attention to deadlines. Students enrolled in College Credit Plus must adhere to all the policies and procedures of the Buckeye Valley High School handbook because you are still a Buckeye Valley student. I am still going to be responsible for you earning the credits necessary towards graduation. You will still walk across the stage with all of your classmates at Ohio Wesleyan at Great Chapel to receive your diploma. So you're still very much a Buckeye Valley student. Available support services. Yes, I'm still going to be your counselor. But you'll have an added counselor. You'll have either Mr. Mooney or Ms. Ward or Mr. Hemiga from the university that you choose, or maybe an assigned advisor, academic advisor at one of those universities to kind of help make sure, okay, is this class appropriate? Have you met prerequisites? Is it transferable? All those kinds of questions that come up. I don't have the answers to all that. I've had some parents already asking me, what classes are available at these universities? Too many to name, hundreds. They have online course catalogs where you can find courses that are available at each of those universities. So two different options. Option A, we don't see very often. That means you're paying for it. Option A is when the family has chosen to do college coursework. Either it's through a private university, or you don't want that grade to end up on your high school transcript. You like that 4.0 that you currently have, and you're concerned about the possibility of a grade lowering your cumulative GPA. Those might be the reasons why a family chooses to pay for College Credit Plus instead of allowing the district to pay for it. Again, we don't see that very often. The option we see most is option B, where yes, we are responsible for your tuition, your textbooks, and we will have your class on the high school transcript. It's the second time I've mentioned that tonight, and it's just something I need to drive home to you all. It's an important note to keep in mind that it's essentially dual enrollment. You're earning a high school credit as well as a college credit when you're doing option B. So this kind of summarizes what I just described. Financial obligations, option A rests with the student parent, option B, that's our responsibility, kind of through the state. I have to mention this and make a pretty strong emphasis of it. If a student fails a course or withdraws from a class after the deadline to drop a class set by the universities, not by us, and it's all publicized on their pages, on their website, the family is on the hook for the tuition reimbursement to Buckeye Valley. And I have seen that happen before, and it's not a pleasant conversation, especially for seniors, when I have to call mom or dad and say, you know what, your child failed. Maybe it was a class that they didn't even need, a philosophy course, but they failed it. Ohio State has already charged us $800, $1,100. Now we need that tuition reimbursement from you. And we will hold your transcript and diploma until we get that payment. So it's an important part of this program. Understanding that we're only paying for classes that you pass. We're not going to pay for a class, and it's up to the college what a passing grade is. It's not always a D-. Am I right, Mr. Herminga, Mr. Ward, Mr.
That
Ward?
is correct.
Somewhere in the C range, typically?
Well, our lowest grade is a D, and that is passed.
Okay, so a D, but not a D-.
No D minus.
Okay. So, not the same scale as Buckeye Valley. It's not always a 60% gets you by. Transportation, you all have to transport yourself. This is why it's so common that we see almost all seniors doing this. Sometimes juniors if you have your license. Most of the classes that students participate in are in person. They don't have to be, but most of the courses that we see students sign up for are in person. So, OSU Marion and Marion Tech, about 25, 30 minutes north of here, straight up 23 on a good weather day. Columbus State is about 15 miles south, 15 to 20 minutes south, right on Route 23 if you're choosing to take classes at their Delaware campus. You could choose to take Ohio State main campus classes or Columbus State main campus classes. Obviously a lot further of a drive. So just kind of bear in mind the whole transportation aspect. And I don't think, did Ohio State, Columbus State, or Marion Tech close class today or have a delay?
No.
No. And does that happen very frequently?
Once every 3-4 years.
Right. Not very often. So another thing I like to just share with parents that, hey, I know Buckeye Valley had school and a lot of other districts did today. I got that. Be thankful we got a delay. But the point I'm trying to make is on bad weather days, those professors are still going to expect it that you're there on time. Spring breaks are not always the same. Actually, I think one of the campus spring breaks is the end of February, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not any of yours, but I was talking to a college advisor recently. Yeah, so if you're planning on that really fun Myrtle Beach trip with some of your classmates next year, and you're taking a college course second semester, your spring break may not jive with the universities. And you might be doing some work from your laptop on the beach. Is all I'm trying to advise you on. We do have assistance for economically disadvantaged students. This would primarily be through if anyone is considering option A or taking a class through private. Again, through public universities, through option B, we're going to pay anyway. Granting of high school credit. I have emphasized this several times. That it appears on your transcript, but maybe you didn't know exactly how. The state actually simplified things a couple years ago. It was kind of a crazy formula before, where 3-semester classes were 6/10 of high school credit, and a 4-semester class was worth 8/10 of high school credit. Well, what did we do for these student athletes that needed that credit to maintain their eligibility, or what if they needed a full credit in English just to graduate? It was kind of a nightmare. I'm thankful that the state simplified things. Essentially, any 3-semester hour class or more is worth 1 high school credit. So if it's 3, 4, or 5 semester hours, which the majority of your classes will be, it's worth one high school credit. So that would allow a student to take English senior year and be done with their high school requirement by the end of the first semester. Because you've taken a 3-semester hour English course in college, and that's worth 1 high school credit. Now, if you want to take yet another English course your 2nd semester, you're absolutely welcome to do that. You could be done with high school English requirement halfway through your senior year. It is very possible. Anything less than 3 semester hours is worth fraction. We don't see that too often. Sometimes kind of a lab that's attached to a science class. If it's a 2-semester hour class, it's worth 2/3. So it does look kind of funny on your transcript that you earned 0.67 of a physics lab credit on your high school transcript. Goes down as 2 semester hours on your college transcript, but only 0.67 of a high school credit. Required testing for graduation. This is kind of a new concept too. Now, most of you, I'm thinking, are OGT testers, meaning you're a junior, many of you, and so you kind of fall under the, I've taken the OGT, I've hopefully passed all 5 sections of the OGT, I don't have to worry about this paragraph at all. For anyone sophomore or younger, this does apply to you. If you take a class here at high school in one of 7 specific subjects, English 9, English 10, Algebra 1, Geometry, Biology, American Government, American History, you are required to take an end-of-course exam. So if you're in any of those classes, week of April 11th through the 14th, you're taking tests on Chromebooks, just like many of you did last year. And you're all looking forward to that. However, next year, if you say you're taking geometry at the college level, or you're going to take your American Government at the college level, you actually get a point for how well you do in the class, not how well you do on the end of the course exam. This doesn't apply to very many, because if you remember the 7 courses I just listed, they're almost all freshman and sophomore classes, right? I mean, very rarely would anyone take that beyond their sophomore year. Algebra and geometry, freshman, sophomore year, if not earlier. English 9, English 10. Biology, American history, yeah. The one that I did say, American government, that's typically reserved for junior year. But again, a lot of people take government while here at Buckeye Valley. So this paragraph won't apply to many of you. But I still have to kind of review a little bit about it. Withdrawing under College Credit Plus. I can't emphasize it enough. You must be aware of the college drop dates. That actually was what penalized a student a couple years ago when I was in another district. He thought he dropped the class. After talking to he and his mom a few times, my impression was he emailed the professor and said, "Thanks, but I don't want to be in your class anymore." That's not a proper drop of a college course. You know, nowadays it's a little bit easier because everything's kind of electronic and you go to the website and you drop. It used to be when I was in college, you'd have to go to the registrar's office, fill out a piece of paper, hand it to somebody, and you had to watch them physically drop you out of the course. It's not as easy as just emailing your professor saying, "I don't want to be in there." So you have to be very aware of college drop dates so that you're not penalized with an F on your high school transcript, an F on your college transcript, and owing Buckeye Valley a good chunk of change in back tuition. Kind of mentioned this as well, academic penalty for failing a college course. It could have ramifications beyond having to pay us back. You know, that permanent grade on your transcript could affect your athletic eligibility if you're using that course as one of the 5 that are required to maintain eligibility through Ohio high school. It could affect NCAA eligibility if you're looking to play Division I or Division II sports. So a lot of things to consider. And then, of course, the economic impact, which I've mentioned a couple times. It's a question I do love hearing, and I had a conversation with a dad already. I think he might have had to scoot out a little bit early, but when do I sign up for these classes? How do I fit it in my schedule? It's a little bit of a dance that we, along with the colleges, have to perform. So, my best advice, you've already turned in your course request sheets. I told a lot of students over the last couple of weeks, please sign up for more electives than you're even thinking you might have to take if you're still going to do College Credit Plus. It's a whole lot easier to take you out of electives here at Buckeye Valley after you know you've committed to taking a college course than it would be on August 10th to try to cram you into some electives here at Buckeye Valley. So that's the first step. If you did not put a couple electives on your sheet, we can absolutely change that. You turned in your sheet on time, you won't be penalized for going back and changing something. We can add some electives, and it would be wise, I think, to do that. Now, when will you take college classes? It's really up to you and when the courses are offered. And they're offered throughout the day, between 8 a.m. and maybe 8 p.m. The best case scenario is when a student can take, if they're doing kind of a mixture, what I call a hybrid. You're doing 3 or 4 classes here at Buckeye Valley, and then you want to take 1 or 2 classes at the college level. Try to get your morning classes, or the classes that you're planning to take at Buckeye Valley here in the morning. We usually do start earlier, and the classes are shorter than college level classes. So you can actually get in 4 classes and still be gone by like 11:15 every day. So then, you can go eat a nice lunch if your class doesn't start till 1:30, and you've got a 1:30 and a 3:45 class at Marion Tech, Ohio State, or Columbus State. That would be ideal. Does it work out that way every time? No. That's ideal. We have some students, it's rare, but we have some students start with a morning class at the college level, and then they come in the afternoon to Buckeye Valley. Again,